Hi, my name is Efrat Kotler. Information, and therefore I have a presentation, because we couldn't do it otherwise. Is it? Yeah. Okay, so let's start, because are we ready? Perfect. So we'll start anyway. What I'm going to talk about is public diplomacy. I'm a student at Hebrew Youth, the communication department, and also working at IBM at the marketing department. And what I wanted to talk about, or I'm going to talk about, even though I don't have the presentation yet, is about public diplomacy, the way it evolved in the past 60 years, and also the way it was affected by social media. So, well, I wanted to show you a really nice picture of Gal Gadot on the Maxim cover that was 4 years ago, so you'll have to excuse me because all you guys, it's going up. And the reason the Israeli diplomacy used Gal Gadot, besides the fact she's hot, is to try to convince the American public, reads Maxim, which is the equivalent for blazer, that Israel is not only about terror and camels and desert and war, but also about beautiful people, beautiful women, might be, but that's a different discussion. But actually, to emphasize that Israel has this sort of environment of normality. And actually, this is a good way to describe public diplomacy, because public diplomacy is when the establishment wants to talk to the public, to a target audience of a target country, in order for them to affect the country. If we all think about classic, wait. Yes? No. I'm gonna continue. So, we all know what classic diplomacy is, right? We have representatives and they're talking to each other, and then they either sign treaties or declare war or whatever. But when we're talking about public diplomacy, it's the importance of the public. And what happened, that was the classic public diplomacy that was conducted around the 60s. Yeah, it's going to be okay. So, what happened since the rise of the internet, and especially 10 years ago, is that there was this understanding, let's cross fingers that I'll have my presentation, or not. So, what happened was, in the new public diplomacy, start from here, wait, you all wanted to see Gal Gadot, didn't you? Yeah. Oh no. So, the new public diplomacy started 10 years ago. These are its main aspects. And then you can see the public has to be much more involved. And it's conducted by states and non-states, which means it's not only by government and establishment, but also by terror organizations, by non-profit organizations, and also by the people themselves. And in Israel, what happened during Second Lebanon War, that is the Ministry of Foreign Affairs created this website. It's called use.org. And what happened was they could download this software that would alert you every time something was written or posted about Israel. And then all the audience who had this software could decide if they wanted to talk about it, if they wanted to say something, vote, go to YouTube and vote, or post something back. And all that is in order to affect what other people thought about Israel. And this got even better. Do you know this guy? We were just talking. This is Cleopatra. So what happened was the Ministry of Foreign Affairs and a bunch of Israeli volunteers created this cooperation. And together they wanted to try and affect the people during Operation Cast Lead. Together, especially the Israeli volunteers, which we all have to give like big applause for their trying, is to create a bunch of platforms on Facebook, on YouTube, on Twitter, etc., in order to try and convince people that there is a reason why Israel started this operation, why Israel is doing it. Whether they succeeded or not, that's a different question. But listen, they tried. And it's people talking to people, because when people are talking to you, it's different. You've got a better listening. You're willing to listen at the beginning. Because when an establishment talks to you, or a company, which is something we're facing every day, you tend not to believe them that much. In the past 2 years, we can see that there's an increase both in the technological platforms and in the amount of people who are using these platforms, right? As we said before, a lot of people have Twitter, a lot of people have Facebook, a lot of people use other platforms like Foursquare. And in the flotilla, what we saw, that the first critical few hours, there wasn't any sign from the Ministry of Foreign Affairs or almost any officials. What happened was the people themselves start to talk. The people, the Israelis, who were on Twitter, who were on YouTube, on Facebook, were trying to convince other people that this is not the whole picture. That what the Turks are saying, what the Palestinians are saying, is not the full picture. And as we can see here, first of all, flotilla got to the trending topics. And Twitter, at some point, erased the word flotilla from the trending topic. Whether it's a technological problem or whether it's a conspiration, I don't know yet. We don't know. None of us know. No one's commenting yet. But as we can see here from the trends map is that the bigger the words are around Israel, the heated was the discussion was heated and even more. Like Israelis were really talking to each other and trying to convince that Israel has a reason. This is not just to prove a point or because we're just another country who wants to kill or to show something, but really because the picture is much more complicated. So if we want to sum what we have in public diplomacy, in the field of public diplomacy, is that the establishment was talking, as we said before, to foreign target public. Then, with the rise of internet and globalization, they used the understanding that the local public has much more to say and is much more effective than just an establishment like Israel wants to talk to you, and nobody would want to do that. And now, we're on the verge of a new phase, which can lead to two options. First of all, a better cooperation. Maybe the establishment will give content and the people will use it and spread the word better. Maybe the establishment will give, when I'm talking about content, I mean video, like Flotilla took 7 hours. Do you know that the first 7 hours there were over 700,000 tweets on Flotilla? That's an incredible number for Israel. So this is the first option. The second option is, since the local public is so used to talk and is so much wants to be involved and to help, maybe the establishment doesn't need to be that important as it is today. And if I started with Gal Gadot, I want to finish with Noat Tishby, who is a really big advocate of Israel, who talked to Queen Noor. For those of you who don't read English, this is part of the discussion that was between Noat Tishby and Queen Noor Hussein from Jordan. And Noat Tishby went to rallies, and Noat Tishby went and took pictures and answered people. And that's something that comes from the people itself. So whether it's an evolution or a revolution, time will tell, but we're on the verge of a new phase. Thank you.